Right, so I'm decided to do list. Of course, what's the best list to do would be The Walking Dead episodes from Telltale Games. There are really no rules. These are every episode from every game, which also includes 400 days as one episode. So that includes the three main games. Well, the third one should be considered a main game. And Michonne. This does not include episodes from Season 4, as the game has not come out yet. So these will be more. I did a longer version of this, but the audio got messed up. So every episode will go for like little negatives and little positives. Just do it overall. I had to go for these. I already did this once, and I don't want to do this again. So yeah, let's begin. Of course, we're going from worst to best. The worst episode is Ties That Bind Part 1. This episode, I hated it so much, and pretty much is the worst episode of Season 3. And basically, every time I think there's some good stuff about Season 3, or New Frontiers, I should call it, because it's not really Season 3. I always think of this episode, even though there are some good stuff. It's just this episode is garbage, and I hate it. I hate how they were in Clemson's character. I didn't think this app was very well done. I didn't care for it. The next would be Ties That Bind Part 2. Pretty much the same as the last one, except I think the ending was stronger for this one. I had pretty much the same opinion. These two episodes should be combined together, but they weren't, so now I gotta put them in different spots. From the Gallows was incredibly disappointing, especially since I heard that this was supposed to be a good episode. A terrible ending to a bad game. I hated the ending, the MCU weird Clem time will return. I hate Clem getting a haircut. I hate that haircut so much. I hate the fact the ending, how you get the different, guess different endings. Not really, the ending never really changes. This like how the made no sense. The game just ends very bitter, very not bitter. Ends very bitterly. I was gonna say bittersweet, but not really. It's not really bittersweet. It goes to the next episode, which is Thicker Than Water, which is most of what I have to say this episode. Well, I'll talk about is more I gotta say about Above the Law. Those two episodes I do like. This episode I didn't like as much as Above the Law, only because it's not as good. They're not really good. They're okay, honestly. These two episodes are good. Okay, I did have some entertainment value out of these. Surprisingly, I don't even remember watching other than the ending where shooting Joan. Joan's a very weak villain. It's probably the weakest villain in The Walking Dead main, the main universe. I'm not talking about the TV show. She's probably the weakest, probably in general, but never know. So that brings us to thinking why we probably already know what's the next episode. Is Above the Law. This episode is a surprise. I actually have found enjoyment out of the game, which I didn't think I was going to find any enjoyment. I did quite enjoy this episode quite a bit. Of course, it has problems like the rest of the game, but I did find myself actually really enjoying a lot of this stuff in it. It wasn't really hating it that much. So I'm glad that I at least got a little bit of enjoyment out of it. Of course, season 3 is usually if I was ranking these all, season 3 would of course be the bottom of the list, as most all the episodes are at the bottom. I think even like the little stuff is better than even this episode. Which brings us to the next thing is, it's kind of as a whole. I think this is not 400 days doesn't really have much going for it. It's a nice filler in between the season 1 and season 2, just like the break it up. But other than that, this game is you can skip it. But it was a fun distraction. But to be invested in these stories are too short. No, most of the characters aren't incredibly interesting. In Too Deep is the next. Michonne game was fun, but let's be real. Let's go for all the episodes here. Give No Shelter, and of course, What We Deserve. These all episodes kind of, I think they get better as each one goes. But as I told, the Michonne game was fun. However, the episodes don't really, I don't think could be better than any of the season 1 or season 2 episodes, which we're about to get into. The game was fun, but if I would be talking about each episode, I'd be talking about the game as a whole rather than each episode. And each of the episodes feel like a part, like a beginning, a middle, and end of the story as a whole, rather than the unique episodes. So that's why I put them near each other, and also why they're not higher, because the game is okay. It's more of like it's a 7 game, 7 out of 10. So let's get into the good stuff. Mid the Ruins is the episode of the season 1, season 2 I had the most problems with. I find that Sarah and Nick's stuff incredibly rushed, and I didn't like the focus on Jane. But there was some fun stuff, like the ending of the episode is great. The beginning episode is entertaining. There are some cool set pieces and stuff like the birth, things like that. Just the weakest. A New Day is, even though it's the first episode that got us introduced to The Walking Dead, it's also kind of a slow, not, I wouldn't say slow, because Very Our episodes is not very that slow, but it's kind of, it gets it gets boring, especially if you play it as much as I have. You can go for the beginning cop car scene so many times before getting annoyed by the fact that you had to do that scene just to get to the more entertaining parts. Of course, getting introduced to your favorite characters is great, but other than that, this episode isn't as good as the other season 1 episodes. There's some good stuff like Crawford and the character Molly, but other than that, it does feel like a bit of a filler in between the two episodes. Next is In Harm's Way. This has been one of my favorite episode, season 2. But then, the more I thought about it, there's something about the episode that just doesn't seem as good as the other episodes. The best part of the episode is, of course, the villain Carver, which is the best villain in the video game series. He's also, in my opinion, the second best Walking Dead villain, right behind my man Negan. But I really don't know what. Is there something about this episode that there's something I feel like I should not like? Is there something I don't like about it, but I just can't put my finger on it. That'll bring us to the next. No Time Left is next. This might seem sacrilege to put this episode not that it's not yeah for putting it lower than most people would have put it. But I like the episode. Just I'm not as crazy about it. It feels a bit like there's like two big scenes. They're great. I feel like the villain Stranger is incredibly weak, especially after like this build up. And I feel like the villain there shouldn't have been a Stranger villain, a guy, or at least a character. If they did have that, they should have had a bit more development rather than a character felt roughed, like half-assed at the last second for some reason. Other than that, the Lee's death, of course, the most iconic scene in all of The Walking Dead, in my opinion. Not in my opinion. I feel like Lee's death, definitely the most iconic scene in The Walking Dead. Argue with me on that. So yeah, there we go. No time left. Let's go on the next episode. Long road ahead. This episode's great. There's a lot of great set pieces like Lily shooting Carly, Katja and Duck's death, meeting new characters, train, all the Lee and Clementine scenes are great. The episode, however, even though I like the long episodes, this episode's way too long. The episodes could have been like cut into pieces for like the next episode. For the next episode, I feel like could have given that some of the set pieces to that episode, since there are because it feels like you go for a lot in this episode, a bit too much, but it's still a great episode. It sets the mood, a depressing mood, but with with a little bit of hope at the end. Getting introduced to the cabin group is great, and being able to play as Clementine is also great. A House Divided is a pretty good episode. So it does all that. Getting introduced to Kenny is probably the most hopeful moment of all the Walking Dead games, which is saying a lot, especially a game that's so hopeless as The Walking Dead is. It's a great episode, and there's a lot of good moments in this episode, of course. The getting to know the cabin group is also great. They are very nice, interesting characters there, and also just a nice episode. Going back, my favorite episode is season 2. There are a lot of great moments. This is, I think, a better version of No Time Left. Except there's no, like, we already know what the ending's pretty much going to be, since here we don't know. You can choose your own ending. It's a great setup for the fight, of course. the reason I put this up so high is because the Kenny and Welching ending are easily the best endings in my favorite endings of anything, really. They're great. They're satisfying and sad as well. They're definitely great endings since unlike the last game, we didn't have to have a character die in order for it to be sad. Great ending to a great game. And let's go to the last episode, which you probably already guessed what it is. It is Starved for Help. Starved for Help is usually everyone's favorite episode. Let's be real. This one episode has like its own storyline about cannibal farmers, which is great. We get more character moments from some of the favorites in the Walking Dead here, and it does, even though it's a self-contained story, it does set up the story for the rest of the game. It's a good episode, of course, a lot of good set pieces. And I think the reason most people like it is because of its self-contained storyline. That's all my rankings. Post your how would you rank these episodes in the comments below. Of course, yours probably will be different from mine. I think some of you probably actually like New Frontier. I didn't, but yeah, this is my ranking. Hope you liked it. I got more Walking Dead videos, and also probably do more ranking videos in the future. So stay tuned.